How many types of zombies does it take to make a good apocalypse in a game? The truth is that everything depends on the execution of the idea. It can be from one to many, and in the game WWZ Aftermath we have 9 types of zombies, which in this video will show you about each one of them. Zeke, the common zombie and the main undead force of the virus revenge of the war. Most, if not all, Zeke's short things haven't been infected for some time. They pose a serious problem when found in large groups. They take advantage of greater numbers to overwhelm and decimate survivors. When trying to reach objectives at high levels, they will be stuck on the top of each other to form a pyramid that allows them to quickly rise to the level of the players. If no Zeke manage to surround a survivor, they will be pinned to the ground in a single down state and will likely require the help of others to clear them and get back up. Seeing a survivor pointing a gun, Zeke sometimes will stray from the path of survivors' gunfire to deflect their aim. On higher difficulties, they become much smarter, more resistant to damage and arrive in great numbers. When a survivor becomes incapacitated and it is not rescuing time, the survivors will writhe uncontrollably on the ground for a short time before getting back up like a newly converted Zeke. Having recently been converted, zombified survivors are slightly faster and more resistant to damage, making them noticeably harder to kill, but otherwise acting like a normal Zeke. If a survivor was carrying a first aid kit, defense kit or other supplies when converted, it will be dropped for all the living survivors to pick up, and if the survivor carried a virus sample when converted, it will be lost.
High voltage set.
Lurker. The Lurker is usually found in hidden places where the players weren't able to see it in the right way, such as corners or behind it. He remains crouched, watching his surroundings waiting for someone to pass by. When the Lurker sees the victim, he pounces on them and attacks them mercilessly while they are on the ground. The Lurker will not release his victim until they let them incapacitated or killed, or it is released from his grasp by several different methods. If the Lurker is spotted by a survivor or is attacked, the Lurker will come out and attempt to pounce on a player who discovers it most directly. The presence of a Lurker in an area it is often revealed by the hissing rolling it makes. Lurkers can sometimes appear in the middle of the swarms and take advantage of the frenzy to pounce on anyone nearby. Gasbag. The Gasbag wears a bright chemical protective coveralls that make it easy to spot in the middle of the firefight. When they get attacked, the suit releases a toxic and dangerous gas around that it is capable of slowly harming players trapped in it. Once dead, all the gas is released as a large cloud at a place where it died. From there, it will act as a large green smoke screen for several seconds before disappearing. If any survivors walk in the gas, they will have a brief window of opportunity to get out before they begin to suffer constant damage and the droplets of green liquid obscure their vision. Standing nearby, but not enough to being damaged by it, will cause players to cough and gasp constantly. Since it's dangerous to be in the gas, it acts as a form of air retinal until it disappears. Firing clean headshots will not produce poisonous gas leaks. After being killed, shooting his corpse will cause some gas to come out, but it will do nothing. Bull. Special 6 with riot armor. The Bull is very dangerous because of its fearsome attack and prosthetic gear. When he sees a player within range, he punches the ground with his fist while roaring furiously before charging at the chosen victim at breakneck speed. If the Bull succeeds, the trapped player will be grabbed in the air for a second by the chest before being mercilessly crunched to the ground non-stop. The Bull will not release its victim until it is incapacitated or killed. or if it is released from it grabs by several different methods. If the ball hits a wall or another obstacle in its path during its onslaught, it will be stunned on the spot momentarily. The ball does not always attack survivors on sight and sometimes attempts to attack them melee several times before doing so. Thanks to its bulletproof vest, the damage received is considerably reduced. The ball are susceptible to headshots from the front once the helmet visor is broken with enough damage. Attacks on them vulnerably and exposed back are also effective ways to kill him. Screamer. Special Zeke's with high visibility uniforms. The Screamer has a megaphone connected to him at all times, which makes his noise amplified to the feeling level. As a result, his presence becomes evident to all, both the living and the dead. Every time he performs his characteristic cry, due to his extremely low squeals, Screamer attracts more Zeeks to approach the position of the survivors. Taking too long to kill him will result in more Zeeks to deal with than a group can handle, so killing him as quickly as possible should be prioritized. Screamer tends to appear in accessible but visible areas. In some cases, they appear in areas where they can be physically approached. As they perform their characteristic scream, a shockwave is sent into a large circular area around them. If a survivor manages to get close enough to be in the shockwave radius of the Screamer when screaming, he will become disoriented for a few seconds and sometimes the Screamer will hit as well. Infector. Special Zeeks with the straitjackets. The Infector can attack survivors from close distance by spitting out a lethal fluid projectile. Upon contact with the Infector's salivus, the player's vision is poorly obscured with dark spots that soon disappear. From there, they are forced to sanitize, or risk the consequence of instant zombification if they are not quick enough to act. While infected, the edge of the player's screen will press and darken, while the dark red veins will slowly grow and move closer towards the center. The player's vision will also become increasingly blurry as time goes on. The Infector will fall to the ground after taking enough damage from the survivors. However, if players don't get rid of Infector in time, it will make a full recovery and continue to fight and infect another survivors. When the Infector is shut down, killing him with more shots, explosions or melee attacks will prevent him from returning. Since a down Infector is a quiet resistance to damage, using melee execution is the quickest and easiest option to finish him. Bomber. Special Zeeks with military equipment. The Bomber is a walking explosive with a delicate trigger. As such, Bombers should be treated with care or from a distance, as getting close enough to survivors will trigger a countdown to a nasty suicide blast that causes massive damage to everyone in its vicinity when it explodes. From a distance, the Bomber's explosive vest can be activated so they can explode immediately with some well-placed shots to the chest that can easily kill him and other nearby Zeeks, including other special zombies. When he is near survivors or he gets shots in multiple times, the explosive in his vest will start flashing red and a cooldown will be triggered where the Bomber will self-destruction after a few seconds. Since the Bomber chases players, dispersing in different directions can help mitigate the amount of damage that explosion can cause to the team. If the Bomber is shot down with accurate shots to the legs or anywhere besides the chest, it will collapse and becomes weak to a melee hit that will diffuse its explosives. If the Bomber dies in this way, he will drop a useful loot as a reward for the effort of the players. If it is not disabled in time, the beep sound will begin to accelerate, indicating that it is about to explode. If he gets shot in the ground, he will explode immediately. The loot will be also destroyed. After defusing it, shooting his corpse will not cause it to explode. Boster. special 6 unbroken hazmat suits, the Boster strengthens the 6 with a mist that emits from the damaged virus samples it carries. The busted 6 becomes strong enough to immobilize the survivors without the help of other 6. While the Boster does not strengthen on its own, it is nevertheless infected survivors after a few blows, similar to the Infector's saliva. Infected survivors can also get a boost from the Boster's fog. Once the Boster is killed, its fog disappears. But the busted 6 will remain until the effect disappears or it is removed as well. Rats. The rats are the unique animals. They are a group of infected rodents, a far cry from the typical sick enemies found so far. However, they have developed both a taste for human flesh and a tactic that makes fighting them similar to Zeke's. They can always be distinguished by their constant squeaks. The rats have the ability to swarm the survivors. This is comparable to how multiple Zekes can immobilize the survivors after surrounding them. They attack one survivor at a time, but they are able to switch targets, allowing them to catch several survivors in no time. Due to the size and structure of the rats group, they have unique strengths that makes them much different to fight against. They can prove being surprisingly resilient without the right tools and could posse than any 6 survivors may encounter if they are not prepared.